first time you see the girl, you find out some songs change your world. Caught your eye across a bold red block, looking like a heat wave mirage. So I took my best rock and roll. Hey, how you doing? What's your name? This show. Did my best James Dean Springsteen, not give a damn. But I was shaking when you smiled, wrote your number on the back of my head. I didn't know it back then, but some songs change your world. But you won't find the magic in the melody or the words. If the first time you hear it is the first time you see the girl, you find out some songs change your world. The 3-minute revelation from a radio station somewhere on the edge of town. They didn't know what they were playing or the soul they were saving, but the earth stopped spinning around. I guess some songs change your world.
And let's hope that some songs change the world. And we hope that you find them because you matter. And songs can help you heal for sure. And this is the Shrink and Rap Show. And you're listening to Tracy. And I welcome you today to the community station right here at TAN Talk Radio. That's right. It's TAN Talk Radio. And it's 106.1 FM, your community station. And you're listening to the Shrink and Rap Show. So hello, everybody out there in Tampa, St. Pete, Clearwater, and Brandon. And hello, DJ Ed. How are you doing?
Good afternoon.
Thank you for joining me today.
You seem like you're feeling better than you were last week.
I am, but it was not pretty. It was not pretty.
Everybody gets that, you know. If it's like one person gets it, then you know somebody in a week or two that gets the same thing.
Yeah, and I sat at home for 3 days, but it's definitely like a sinus respiratory type thing. Yeah. But you know what I was introduced to? Actually, Tricia told me about it. It's called the medicine ball from Starbucks. And I got that even today. And what it is, it's just a warm drink that just really helps. So if you're out on the road and you feel congestion, go get your medicine ball.
Medicine ball is also something you work out with.
Yeah, that's right.
I thought maybe you had an extreme workout or something.
I do have one of those, but I skipped the gym this week for sure. So anyway, that was Some Songs Change Your World by Tim McGraw. And it's the first time I've ever heard of that song. Have you heard it before?
I have not, but Tim McGraw doesn't put out bad songs.
Exactly right. But I love that because it really identifies with the show, the Shrink and Rap Show, for all of you that are out there driving right now. What it is we have Shrinks and Raps, and it's my every week I say this, but the lyrics to the songs really matter because between the suggestions and opinions from our licensed therapists and the suggestions and opinions from our raps who are our friends and the lyrics of the songs hopefully will help you get through tough times or help you enjoy great times. So anyway, that's what the Shrink and Rap Show is about. Again, it is your community station. I do want to remind everybody that this is a show that is based on suggestions and opinions, as well as it's just entertainment. And I'd like to thank my sponsor. And I want everyone to know that everybody that comes on my show volunteers their time. So it is a volunteered show. And I want to thank all my licensed therapists that come on here. And I also would like to thank all my raps for what you do for our community, because we live in a great community. And there's Lola out there and Juno walking past the window. So anyway, so Ed, before we get started with today's topic, which by the way, today's topic, I'm going to go ahead and let you know what it is. It is about changes, whether they're good or bad. And change, it can be very, very difficult, especially when you're used to routine. And we have Rowene that's going to come on, our licensed therapist number 4, to offer some suggestions of how to cope with that. And, as y'all know, Home Shopping Network was here, right here in St. Pete. And a lot of people were employed over there. And it was an amazing place. It was an eagle's nest of just great people. And they've moved, and that's life. And so we're all up for change. So that's just one example. Sometimes there are people out there that have empty nest syndrome. with change. Do you have any comments off of that?
No, well, I went through that. I've been to some other radio stations. See, when they come in, they basically just about let everybody go.
Yeah.
And it was back in the late 90s, early even 2000. It was so hard to, once you say goodbye, unless you liked writing letters and sending them in the mail. But nowadays, it's so much easier. I mean, because you can FaceTime,
right?
You can Facebook, you can Instagram, and it's like, they never leave. So.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of social media is you can
That's
stay
the
connected.
good part. That's the good part. Used properly, read the instructions, people.
Yes.
If it's used properly.
Yes, but also still stay connected without the phone as
exactly.
well.
Yeah.
So, and that leads me to something else here, Ed, and I'd like to get your, if you have any comments about this, but first of all, would like to say prayers to everybody out there in Texas. That is such a surreal and unimaginable event that took place out there. It's hard to process the reality of it. And I've listened to a lot of interviews and everybody just says to please pray.
Yeah. It's Mother Nature at its worst.
Yeah.
And that happens. And you have to pick up the pieces. I mean, we dealt with something similar last year with 2 hurricanes. Yeah. A lot of people lost everything or a lot of things. And some people lost their lives. And that's the worst part. You can lose property, but the lives, it makes it even worse.
Yeah. And I'm glad you'd mentioned Mother Nature because, Ed, a lot of people sometimes want to put blame on others when it's just Mother Nature.
It's a whole different show, Tracy.
Yeah.
It's like, can we at least find the people that are missing before we start laying blame?
And that's
please, it's like.
I agree. And if you're going to be out there and start doing that, what I ask of those people that do that, can you please get out and help with the search and rescue? Yeah. And natural disasters happen, but our hearts and prayers are for everybody, all the leaders out there, the mayor, everybody that's helping, the heroes that made it, the heroes that didn't. But we are praying for you. And
I saw one interview of a little girl that managed to gratefully. I mean, the fact that she was able to get out of there. She saw one of the cabins being overflowed, with the water rush, and she quickly grabbed her name tag and put her name tag on in case the worst were to happen.
I saw that. So, she put it on her back.
Yeah.
Could not believe that. That is so wise. And those camp counselors, wow, that was, they really did their job being so young of helping others. So.
Well, and like you said, let's let them heal.
Yeah.
Find the people that are missing. There's still over 100 missing.
No.
So, let them find the people that are missing. Let them get their lives, start to get their lives back,
And I ask those reporters that are out there to please do the same.
Yeah.
Because if you really, really care, then you'll be part of the search and rescue. You will be part of the search and rescue out there. So our prayers go out there. So anyway, and you know what? And it also leads me to what the show is all about too, is just being completely grateful for your day. The gift of a day is so important. And when you hear stories like this, it's like definitely, Lola's got a surprise in here for me.
You were always talking about words and songs and stuff.
Yeah.
And I pulled that out for my cousin.
Oh, okay. Oh my gosh. Can I read? I might have to take a picture. Okay. I can't, I need like stronger glasses. I can't read, it's all cursive. But you know what? This is the thing. So let's definitely, this is from your cousin, Lola? Huh?
She put it on Facebook.
Oh, so it's on Facebook. Okay. So yes, that's just the most important thing in life really is to appreciate each day and love the ones that you have. And this will be on Facebook from Lola's cousin because I can't read it. Is that good? Or maybe I'll read a little bit. Okay. All right. So let's take a listen because change is inevitable. And life is about change. And I don't know about y'all, but sometimes we all get complacent and we don't want change to happen. So let's listen to this David Bowie song that I think everybody knows about changes.
Oh, yeah. was waiting for, and my time was running wild, a million dead-end streets, and every time I thought I got it made, it seemed the taste was not so sweet. So I turned myself to face me, but I've never caught a glimpse how the others must see the faker. I'm much too fast to take that test. Changes, turn and face the strain. Changes, don't wanna be a richer man. Changes, turn and face the strain. Changes, it's gonna have to be a different man. Time may change me, but I can't trace time.
And that was Changes by David Bowie. And anytime you're going through changes, maybe flip on a song and listen to the lyrics, and it just might help you or motivate you in the right direction. And who is here today, but other than Rowene, our shrink number 4, who's going to give us some suggestions and opinions on how to deal with change, whether it's positive or negative. Are you with us, Rowene?
I am. How are you today?
Doing great. Thank you for joining our show as always and being part of the Shrink and Wrap show. We appreciate you so much.
Yeah.
So
I love
yeah, so Rowene, I'm going to read this paragraph because I started doing a little bit of homework about change, and change can be both good and bad. It is a natural part of life, and while some changes can be positive and lead to growth, others can be challenging and cause stress or even pain. But ultimately, how we perceive and react to change depends on the individual, the nature of the change, and our ability to adapt. Can you take over from there and give our Shrink and Wrap listeners some advice on how to deal with change?
Absolutely. Change is an essential part of life. Everything changes. And if it's not growing, then it's dying. So for us to engage in change, we have to approach it. Well, we don't have to, but it's helpful to approach it as an opportunity to grow and an opportunity to open our boundaries and learn more. It is a challenge. Growth is always challenging, and change is inevitable. And we as humans get comfortable in our inertia, in our not changing. Happy people don't change. They don't grow. And without growth, we are slowly decaying and dying.
Mm-hmm.
And so change is essential. The challenge is how we approach it. And oftentimes people will approach it with fear because they like the cozy, comfortable routine they've created. And so then when they're encountered with, I've got to change this, there's a lot of resistance. And the resistance will cause us pain and potentially suffering. Suffering, according to the Buddhists, is not necessary. Their statement is pain is inevitable, suffering is optional. And suffering is holding on to the way it was rather than accepting the way it is and the way it's evolving. So we have a choice to hold on to the old way and suffer and devolve, not grow, or to embrace, be grateful for the things and the times that we had, and embrace what could be new and exciting about the change. Any thoughts about that?
Well, I've always, I think one of the most important things that you said is not to be stuck in your idea of what it was and knowing what it
Yes,
is now,
yes,
because you can be stuck, I think, in something that, um, you're not growing, like you said, and it's important to
right,
grow. And that's why I always play that song Unwritten, because your story and your book of life should be adventurous and fun and growing, right?
right.
We don't want it to be like a broken record. So I feel like your story's unwritten when change happens, and when you can't change it, um, you have to psychologically psych yourself up to say,
Right,
what's coming my way now?
right.
So, so
So it
mhm,
went fronted, and there's change that we choose. Marriage can be a change that we choose.
mhm,
It still causes stress. It still causes us to question everything. So even positive change can feel scary and stressful. And so when we're in that place, then our bodies react by releasing cortisol and perhaps adrenaline, depending on how scared we feel.
mhm,
And that brings us belly fat
mhm.
as protection. It brings a lot of things to us that are not healthy.
Right.
So if we can remember to square breathe, remember to reconnect with nature, remember to look at the positive thing that we're moving forward to, it helps
Mm,
in the change process. Then
mhm.
that's for changes that we like and we want. When we're blindsided by change and we don't want it, it's
Mhm.
much harder to see the positive things that can come out of that.
Right. Yeah.
And so in that case, it's important to acknowledge what you still have, what you can still do, the steps you can still make. It's also important to acknowledge the gifts that you got from the way that it was and trust your own ability to expand and grow into the new person that you are becoming.
Mhm. Yeah, I think getting out of the comfort zone, it takes a lot of courage.
It does.
But I will say this too. I I think it's important to really get out of your past too, because I know some people that might, your high school years might have been your great years, but do you want to be stuck in your high school years when you're 35 or 40?
Right.
Does that make sense without it sounding bad? Because I think we can all say, "Oh my gosh, those were great years, and that was a highlight of my life because, I did this or that at 18 or 21." But I still see some people that are limited themselves to just those years
Yeah.
for themselves. So getting
Right.
unstuck from those highlights in your life, it takes courage. Dare to say
It
yes,
does.
right?
Yes. And if we look at physics, astrophysics or quantum physics, it tells us that an atom at rest stays at rest until something comes along and bumps it and says, hey, move.
Right.
And I think that the universe provides those moments when we get to at rest that jog us and tell us to get moving. We have much more to do, that we're much more able to expand beyond where we think we can. And sometimes that looks like a job ending that we didn't think we wanted to end,
Yeah.
a relationship ending that we didn't think we wanted to end.
Yeah,
And
I think when you're in a peak of happiness, it's hard to say, am I ever going to find that happiness again? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
some people in the careers, like, I don't think I'll ever find a job like that again. But that's not life. Change is inevitable.
You want to find something more expansive. That was wonderful. But what's the next expanding thing you can do?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And isn't necessary. We live in a country that loves the big bang, that loves the grand gesture. Can we learn from doing smaller gestures?
Mm-hmm.
And perhaps increase those into a grander gesture, but not limit ourselves by saying this is the only way it can be great.
Mm-hmm.
Because when we look back and hold on, that's a huge anchor to try to drag into the future, first of all. And second, we want to make something bigger.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily create the same thing.
I think too, and Ed, feel free to say anything anytime you want. But I feel like too, sometimes when you hold on, you're only living in your imagination.
Yeah.
Right? Like you're just living in your head
Uh-huh.
when you hold on sometimes to things that were in the past.
And when you identify only with the things that are in the past, you're denying yourself the opportunity for some really marvelous things in the future.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So some of the good aspects of change, and I kind of had a little bit of notes here, but it says personal growth and development. That's a good aspect of change. There's new opportunities and innovation and progress. Any comments on those?
What were the last two words?
Well, innovation and progress. Change is essential for in all areas of life, but personal relationships and professional development, so important as you mature in life, right?
It is,
Yeah.
absolutely. And I think sometimes we have, if we let ourselves, we have dreams and goals that we can't see the how of.
Mm-hmm.
For example, I had wanted to travel and live in other countries long enough to get to know the culture. But I had no idea how I was going to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And then a job ended that I thought was going to go on for a long time. And someone else just out of the blue told me of a job working with the Department of Defense, in which I would go to military installations all around the world and be there for 3 months, 6 months, or a year. And in applying, it was kind of scary, but in applying for that job, I got to live 6 months in Germany, 6 months in Alaska, 6 months in England, 4 months up in Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to, and they paid all the all the flights, they paid all the lodging, they gave me a great salary and a per diem to spend while I was there.
Got a better deal. Yeah.
I mean, it was amazing the amount of traveling I got to do and the places that I got to see and the people I got to meet.
Yeah. I guess
where that one job had stayed the same, I'd have been so limited.
Yeah. I always say the universe is in your favor, hopefully.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I say that, tell people that the universe has got your back.
Yeah. Now, and then I think it's also important too, because a lot of people that do make those changes because, and they're brave enough to go do it. I think it's important to embrace the negative aspects, to expect some of these things might happen. You might have stress and anxiety, and it is going to probably disrupt your routine, and you might have difficulty adapting, But I think it's important to understand that you're going to have those negative fears, but not to let those stop you from the next hurdle or the next chapter in your life. Just
Yes.
be brave.
Well, and I'm reading a lot of different new research on the fact that humans require and even seek out adverse events and ways to make themselves grow.
Mm-hmm.
Mountain climbing and marathons are two that come to mind immediately.
Mm-hmm.
There have been tons written about the amount of starvation that goes on when you hike a big mountain, about the hours of tedious coldness, about the continual exhaustion.
Mm-hmm.
And yet, people still sign up in droves to climb those big mountains.
Yep. And you know what? I love that you just said that, because I want everyone, you're listening to the Shrink and Wrap Show right here at 106.1 FM TAN Talk Radio, live in Clearwater, Florida with DJ Ed. And my name is Tracy. And, but what you had just said, I have a great song coming up from Miley Cyrus. It's called The Climb, but we're not going to go there. We're going to go there in 3 minutes. But listen to the lyrics, because what you just said as the shrink, and this is what the show about, ties into what Miley Cyrus sings about with change and the climb. But I just want to say in closing statements, navigating change for people that want to, how do I start? I've got some notes here. It says navigating change, you start by acknowledging your feelings, what's important, right? Process your emotions. And then it says to focus on what you can control. Would that be true or false?
That would be true. Though keeping in mind that we can handle more than we think we can.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
Yeah. And then thirdly, it says seek support. So with that, any closing statements from you, Rowene, on the importance of being brave to change?
Absolutely. There are so many rewards on the other side of change.
Mm-hmm.
So many experiences, so much expanding of our empathy, our awareness, our knowledge of people around us, and being a part of humanity, and the compassion and the kindness that you find when you're in the process of change that's difficult for all of us. You also get to see how valiant the human experience is, and the human spirit. You were talking about the flood in Texas when I came on, and it is amazing. I've been in some disaster situations where it's amazing how resilient the human spirit is.
Yeah, the heroes and that whole everything is incredible.
Yeah, and then that we get the opportunity to witness, to be a part of, and to experience that kind of growth and healing for ourselves and for others.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I wish that wouldn't have happened at all, but that,
well, no, when none of us want anybody. Yeah. One of my friends says Mother Earth is having a panic attack.
Yeah.
Because of the way we're dealing with it. And those kinds of things are happening as a result of her panic attack.
Yeah. The one thing, it definitely makes you appreciate life. And that's why you got to live your best life every day and not take a day for granted. But anyway, change is inevitable. And Rowene, I thank you so much for coming on and sharing everything. And I know your thoughts and prayers are with everybody out in Texas as well.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. And can you give everybody the information to reach you if they are interested in if they're struggling with making change, good or bad? It could be empty nest syndrome. It could be anything. Give Rowene a call. Give them your information, Rowene.
Yeah. It's Rowene.net. If you want to look at my website on the internet. My phone number is 813-857-2888. 2401.
And thank you, Rowene. And hopefully it's a new chapter. Listen, we got fall around the corner. So get yourself organized this season. You don't have to wait till New Year's Eve to make a change. Start working on it now and start in fall, right?
Absolutely. Fall is a wonderful time.
That's right.
To be
Get out there and live your best life. To all of you that are listening, Rowene, thank you. We will see you again or hear from you next week. But we're going to listen to Miley Cyrus right now in the song called The Climb. Listen to the lyrics.
I can almost see it, that dream I'm dreaming, but there's a voice inside my head saying you'll never reach it. Every step I'm taking, every move I make feels lost with no direction. My faith is shaken, but I gotta keep trying. Gotta keep my head held high. There's always gonna be another mountain. I'm always gonna wanna make it move. Always gonna be an uphill battle. Sometimes I'm gonna have to lose. It ain't about how fast I get there. Ain't about what's waiting on the other side. It's the climb. The struggles I'm facing, the chances I'm taking, sometimes might knock me down, but no, I'm not breaking. I may not know it, but these are the moments that I'm gonna remember most. Yeah, just gotta keep going, and I gotta be strong. Just keep pushing.
Here comes that rainy day. Does Ed want to play it? I'm back. Hello. Surprise, surprise. It's all live radio.
I know. I gotta ask you, where are your little friends today? Where have they gone to?
And what a big surprise. I have Lola, the station owner, with her dog Juno is in here. What a big surprise. My friends are out and about. I have one in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
She's actually up there with HSN, Home Shopping Network, doing a show.
Mm-hmm.
And then Trish is doing she's going to be on the phone here pretty soon, but she's doing a little extra work for a movie.
Okay.
Isn't that exciting? And then Renee is in Tampa Bay finding out what we're going to do this weekend. So she's sitting on the other line. She's going to be listening to us. She's on the phone, but they're all going to be here on the radio in just about 5 minutes.
Okay.
But I get you today. I've been asking for you to come in here for 2 years. This is Lola. Welcome, Lola. Lola. Don't mistake it. But she's here today.
I know. I can't use my dog as an excuse anymore.
I just love it. I love
I
it. You got
know.
some fascinating stories, so I hope you can share with them. But you had brought this poem in, and I do know how to read cursive, but I my glasses, I
It's
can't
E.
see.
Cummins' poem. I don't know if you saw the movie In Her Shoes.
I didn't. It's terrible. Did you see that? In My Shoes? Nope.
You didn't see it?
I don't think so.
It's Shirley MacLaine
Okay.
and Diaz.
Okay. Cameron
And-
Diaz?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
And anyway, so and she was dyslexic.
Yeah.
You know, and she wasn't a very good person, and she stole from her grandmother and did everything. And her sister was a very good lawyer and all this kind of stuff.
Mhm.
And she never quite could get her act together.
Yeah.
Anyway, but this is the E. Cummins poem that she wrote In Her Shoes. I carry your heart with me. I carry your heart in my heart.
Can you read it?
I can read it. But,
Okay, let's listen.
you know what? I'm going to have Ed read it.
All right, let's have Ed read it.
Yeah.
I'm going to take it.
Okay.
You hold
take
the
it a
mic.
minute.
Hold the mic for a minute. I'm going to have Ed read this.
Anyway, she ruins her sister's wedding.
Okay.
And then
She ruined the wedding?
yeah.
Oh.
And then it goes and it gets better. But this is what she said when at the wedding. But it's another thing. A lot of people have a very, very hard time when their partner dies, you know.
Oh.
And so my cousin put something on Facebook.
Oh.
She put something on Facebook, and it was like, you know, you got to get over it. You just got to get over it because, you know, you're driving everybody else crazy. You have to move on.
Yeah.
So that was what he's going to read is my response to her.
Okay.
But I don't know if they've, I don't know if it's ever become a song, but I'm going to look it up.
Well, you got to find someone to sing it. There's plenty of people around here that will sing it, probably become famous if they sing it, right? We got to find someone to sing it. Maybe we should have a contest.
Where's Barbara Streisand when we need her?
Ed, can you see?
No.
Oh my gosh. Well, and the guy that's waiting for Devin's show, he says, well, it's written in cursive. No wonder she can't read
Well,
it.
it's not just, it's in micro
I
cursive.
can read cursive too, but
It is
kind of small.
It is beyond small. So anyway, so we're going to have to show it. Tell everybody where they can find the poem on Facebook, though, because I think, and I'm going to watch the show.
Oh, yeah, it's good.
So
Yeah.
where can they find
And
it?
who's the girl from Australia? Toni Collette. She plays a sister.
Oh, okay.
She plays a sister.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, I'll have to watch it. Ed, have you ever heard of it? Have you ever heard of this movie Lola's talking about?
No, I haven't.
All right. Well, we have some homework to do. So why don't we do this? Why don't I bring this poem back next week? I'm gonna take a picture of it and expand it because it is like micro letters. No one would pass that at an eye exam. But I thank you for bringing that in. And so, how do you feel about change in life? What's your advice to everybody out there from the Shrink and Wrap Show?
Well, the thing is, you can't live in the past.
Yeah.
You can't live in the past, and sad things do happen.
Yeah.
But you have to move on.
Yeah.
You have to move on. And you can say, this is probably my 15th dog.
Yeah.
Yes. The Great Danes do not last very long.
Yeah. But that's what I always say. Get out and just dare to say yes. And just, get out there and make new friends and get a new dog.
That's right.
Don't wait and let that be your last dog. Because plenty of dogs need homes. So
I want to know, when you worked at Home Shopping Network, did you put makeup on people?
Oh, no, I can't see to put makeup on people. The eyeballs will be at the cheek. No, you should see my do it without even looking. But no, I have great makeup artists. They had great makeup artists over there when needed. Now, on air, I did apply the eyebrow. I worked for Benefit and worked with Nakery, and I would apply the tanning stuff. But I've worked over there for over 20 years. And we know the birth of HSN.
Oh, yes.
Can you share that story? Can we share it?
Bud Paxton, yes.
Yeah,
of course.
Let's take a listen to Lola and listen to the birth of HSN right here with Lola, the station owner.
What was the call letters of 1470 before they sold it?
HNZ, was it? Or something like that? Or you don't know Winds?
No, Wind is all Clear Channel.
Okay.
It's all Clear Channel. Anyway, Bud Paxton bought 1470. And so they were having hard times. And so he, a lot of times when people don't have money, they'll bring the product in.
Mm-hmm.
And so he had a bunch of toasters. Mm-hmm. So he needed to make payroll. And so they started to sell the toasters on air. Mm-hmm. And then from that, Bud was always throwing stuff against the wall to see what would stick.
Yeah.
See, it would stick. And so anyway, so then he needed a remote vehicle. So then my husband would go to a car dealership and make a trade with that. Right. And then he would do that. And then they started doing hotels and Carnival cruises and all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And so then that kind of gave Bud the idea for home shopping. He took his little radio show and expanded it, and that's how Home Shopping did it.
And that's why you're sitting here as well right now, right? From his ideas, and you kind of took over after many years.
A lot of it.
Exactly right.
A lot of it.
We'll have to get to that as well. Mm-hmm. So the birth of HSN kind of started with appliances.
Selling them on the radio.
And they realized how quick they went. Mm-hmm. And like, oh my gosh, we have a great idea here. Let's start a company that's on air. Right.
Yes. And then Barry Diller bought it from QVC.
Wow.
And that's where all your little friends have kind of gone up to Pennsylvania.
I know. Well, listen, let me just say this, Home Shopping Network. And yes, I for those that are listening right there, I've been a part of that family for literally over 20 years. And the difficulty was the beauty of the relationships that came out of working with so many good people from everywhere, all different backgrounds, all different belief systems, but it was such a wonderful, positive environment. And in today's world, you think, where can I find an environment with that many people that are just happy?
Okay, then how did Susan Lucci get into beauty products?
Susan Lucci, I can't answer for her, but I will say she did. I did have a great job. That was my very first job. Thank you for leading that. I didn't want to talk about it. I didn't expect this show to go like this, but you surprised me as always. But yeah, Susan Lucci started off with the microdermabrasion. And I think I could be wrong. I don't want to put words or where it all started, but that's probably where infomercials started. You remember when the infomercial craze started?
Oh, yes. Everybody bought the all nights from midnight till 5 a.m. was all of the infomercials. So these people would go to radio stations and say, hey, everybody's sleeping.
Yeah.
And we're going to give you 10 cents on the dollar for this. Well, that they sold.
Right.
But it was good. But about if you were number 4 at the night, people were kind of snoring.
Yeah.
They'd fall asleep. So
Yeah.
everybody would want to be, at least midnight or 1 o'clock or something like that.
Well,
Yeah.
my C student blonde moment that I did. And I know, listen, for all you blondes out there, sorry. But for me, I'll tell you what I did as a blonde and a C student. But my very first job was with Susan Lucci. And I had a shift and it said 12 a.m. And I was so excited. I thought, oh my gosh, I had this great show with Susan Lucci. Okay. The Susan Lucci. And I'm all ready. I'm prepared. My clothes are laid out. My hair's done. My nails are done. And I get a call. Where are you? And I'm like, well, I know the show's at noon. They go, no, it's at midnight. And oh my God, that was my first show at HSN, okay, with Susan Lucci. So I sat in the dark. I turned the show on, and Susan was microdermabrasion her husband's face. And then that just went from bad to worse for me. So I cried in the dark and thought I completely missed my opportunity.
Wait, this is 23 years ago?
This was literally 23 years ago.
And
So
she was
after
going to
that,
do it?
did they buy you a digital clock?
I just got it after that. I cannot even believe, but I cried in the dark because it was my very first show, literally.
Mm.
And when you see her with her husband, he's up there and he's getting the microdermabrasion. I mean, and what a glam job, right? I got Susan Lucci giving me a facial.
Yeah.
I'm getting paid for it. I'm getting my face done, but I'm thinking that was my first and last show. But I worked for her for like 2 years after that. And I got to say, she's a lovely, lovely lady. I mean, everybody over there, I still have her microdermabrasion. It still works after all these years. Yeah, product. But Home Shopping Network.
Did she ever get an Emmy?
Well, she deserved it. I am, because I watched all my children when I was 12.
I know. Everybody famous came off of that show.
Yeah, she was. And the dedication and sweetness that woman had. And think about that. She looks fabulous, like you, Lola, always put together. That's one thing I've learned. When you dress for success. I'm usually in leggings, but now in this next phase of my life, that is going to be a goal. I want to dress for success.
Okay.
But yeah, Home Shopping Network. I can't say enough about it. And part of this show is for all of my HSN family out there who, it's their livelihood, but it was such a wonderful job that you really enjoyed and got paid for. And the relationships that came out of it was a bloom of just beautiful flowers all over the place.
Okay. Now, all of the products that are on there, do other stores sell those products?
Oh, yeah.
They do?
Yeah, they do. I think, you can go, sometimes you can go and find some of those products. But what I loved about HSN is you have a relationship with the host and they teach you how to apply it. And you learn so much by listening. So if you're out there listening to the Shrink and Wrap show, definitely listen to QVC and HSN up there in Pennsylvania, because you learn how to apply all this. Like even with the microdermabrasion, you know how to properly do it, how much you do it. It's a personal relationship.
Well, doesn't Dillard's or Macy's or anything have anybody that does that when you go in?
They do, but when you're at home, it's just, there's something personal about it. I can't explain it. There is that, but it's just so neat to hear from the host. And then you hear from all these, like Adrienne Arpel, she's a huge beauty. The beauty industry is incredible. Benefit, Nakery, there's True Hair. There's shaving kits now. There's all kinds of stuff that you can learn. And that's why I always say on this show, live your best life, because it starts with feeling your best. And when you get these beauty secrets that these Hollywood stars had paid for people to get, they know these beauty secrets, like your eyebrows. Your eyebrows are so important. Benefit has an eyebrow that is incredible. And it was a family-owned business back in the 70s. You put an eyebrow on, ladies and gentlemen, it can take 10 years off your life. And when you hear that and you see the results, it's incredible. Now, this is the other thing. Ed, you'll laugh at this. Like, I would go out and do a show for a benefit, okay? And I would put my eyebrow on. Well, then I would leave without putting the other eyebrow on. And did any of my friends over there say anything? Nothing. Didn't say a word. And then the other thing is I tanned a lot for Nakery. I worked a lot. Nakery Beauty has a tanning product that is organic. So it's clean beauty. So it's not bad, whatever you take in. So, I was half tan for like 5 summers. So the only good thing is now is that I get to fully tan myself, because I'm like, but I did tell my friends, if anything happened to me in the middle of the night, please come spray paint the other half of me, because I don't want to go out half tan, like a flounder.
Well, I'll tell you
Well,
what.
it'd match the only one eyebrow.
Yeah, I know.
But the thing is, Tracy, okay, when I was young, okay.
You're still young.
Everybody wanted the Jean Harlow, all those. And my aunt said, do not pluck your eyebrows when you're young. Do not pluck your eyebrows. You're going to hate yourself. You're going to hate yourself. You're going to hate yourself. Yeah. And believe me, they're right.
Yes.
But I noticed that the teenagers now, their parents have and the grandparents have convinced them, don't pluck your eyebrows, because if you keep plucking them, they won't grow back.
Oh, yes. And like my mom said the same thing. And as you get older, your eyebrows get sparse. Mm-hmm. So, and not only that, what happens with eyebrows is styles do change. So you might have, a thin look, or you might have a very, they change. Mm-hmm. So the best thing to do is to leave them up. There is way too much product. There's way too much product out there that you don't have to do anything with your eyebrows. Check out Benefit. Mm-hmm. And there's also products out there that will help. Nakery has an eyebrow pencil that helps with growth.
Okay, where do I find it?
Well, Nakery.com, or you go to HSN. You can go to HSN and QVC, and or Nakery.com, Benefit.com. But definitely check out HSN, because they have all the top brands out there. And even though they're not here, they've moved, and a lot of our friends and hosts are all up there. So support them. I'm telling you, it is a great group of people. And if you want to soar with eagles, and you want to soar with a positive life, and you want to soar with how to take care of yourself, you're definitely going to want to watch the QVC HSN show. And I thank you for bringing all that up.
We got to talk to the governor to get him back down here again.
Yeah.
We got to get a break or a deal or something like that.
Yeah. Well, there you go. You have any connections here? Do you?
We can talk about it.
I bet you do. And Lola, I want to have you on one day. Thank you for coming here. Next week, Ed, we got to watch the movie, and I'm going to expand. I'm going to put that poem where I can read it, and Ed or someone can read it. And then we're going to talk about that next week. So will you come back in on my show next week? Even though it's your radio
I got to
station?
talk about, just before I came here, Letterman was doing his tribute to Johnny Carson.
Oh, gosh.
And Bette Midler was singing That Rainy Day Is Here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so maybe Ed can get that song going. Anyway, you got somebody waiting for
4 minutes. Okay, we got 4 minutes. And Lola, thank you. I feel so honored that you came in on your own radio show.
Well, sometimes I do just stumble around.
Yeah, we are going to tell the story of how this whole thing started. Okay. Love you. Thank you. Okay, Renee.
Oh, and then she dropped off.
Oh, she dropped off. Okay, we've got.
Thank you.
Hi, Renee. I'm sorry I had a great surprise visit with LOLA Lola. So we have 1 minute with entertainment news. Renee around Tampa Bay is our entertainment girl. So tell us what's going on in 2 minutes.
From now on, I'm going to talk about HSN. There's way too much that I looked up for entertainment this week to even get that out in 1 minute. But truly a great place to work. I agree with you, Tracy. For 23 years, I worked with you. I worked with so many wonderful people. We are so blessed to have that in our back pocket.
Right.
And able to have those happy memories. On that note, listen, there are so many things happening this weekend, but we're running out of time.
Well, just give us top five. Top five. And
Well,
yes, it was an
there
eagle's
is.
nest.
Okay, so Friday the 11th, I'm going to mention this girl because I've seen her personally in concert in just years ago. I saw her. Her name is Christy Lee.
Uh-huh.
And I thought this girl's soulful lyrical ability was beyond her years. And she has a bluesy, authentic sound. Reminds me kind of of Melissa Etheridge or a Bonnie Raitt.
Uh-huh.
She's going to be this week at and it's kind of, I've never been here, but it's called the Music for Life Living Arts Center.
Mm-hmm.
And it's in Clearwater, kind of Dunedin, Clearwater. The doors open at 7 p.m. Tickets can be purchased on Eventbrite. That's something you should check out. Another little odd thing that I picked out of comedy, there's so many comedy shows. Ben Schwartz and Friends will be playing at the Strauss Center. They don't really announce this. He's nothing prepared before everything. He makes up everything on the spot, total improv. It's a unique comedy show, and tickets are available, but you'd have to get them at the Strauss Center when you go.
Mm-hmm.
And then one last good thing, Hard Rock Cafe, July 13th, Sunday, Gladys Knight will be performing at 8 p.m. And she's supposed to be a magnificent in concert. And then one other place, Janice Landing, July 16th at 7 p.m. This is an Australian alternative band, rock band with a cruisy kind of sound. They'll be at Janice Landing, and you can get your tickets at Janice Landing or Eventbrite.
Okay. Well, thank you,
All
Renee,
right.
around Tampa Bay. And there's no reason for no one not to live their best life. I'm going to come up with our conclusion. Thank you for all that information. And so in today's conclusion, remember, we can't be afraid of change. You may feel very secure in the pond that you are in, but if you never venture out of it, you will never know there is such a thing as an ocean, a sea. Have a great week, everybody. Live your best life. You're listening to the Shrink and Wrap Show. And remember, your story's unwritten.